Always capitalize the first word of a sentence. That's pretty straightforward, and that's pretty consistent across most publications, even outside of APA style. But one thing that is specific to APA style is when you're talking about a title or a heading in your text, this is not in your reference list, this is in your main text, you want to capitalize all the major words and all words of 4 letters or more in your main title. And if you have a level 1 or 2 heading, so if you have a section or a subsection in your paper, you want to make sure that all the major words of 4 letters or more are all capitalized. When you get into like level 3 and 4 headings, that changes a little bit. Also, proper nouns are capitalized. So if it's somebody's name or it's the specific name of a place or a thing or an organization, that will be capitalized. One thing you might see in your reading is capitalization for emphasis, and I want to make sure that it's clear that that is not part of APA style. So for example, proper nouns, the job title is capitalized if it precedes the person's name. So Queen Elizabeth, her title is Queen. So if you say Queen Elizabeth, Queen would be capitalized. But if you're just talking about the Queen, then it would be lowercase. The same for other sorts of job titles. So if I were just talking about the president of the company, it would be lowercase. But if I were talking about President Smith, president would be capitalized. And if it's the specific name of something, like the specific name of a department, so the Department of Psychology at University of Arizona, all of the main words would be capitalized. But if I'm just talking about the psychology department or a psychology course, that would be lowercase. Other time to remember to capitalize is when you are talking about chapters or sections or things that are in a series. So if you say Appendix A, Appendix B, Appendix C, appendix would always be capitalized. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, chapter would always be capitalized. But if you're just talking about the appendix or the chapters, it would not be capitalized. One thing I really want to mention, because I see this a lot, people are doing it because they're introducing a new idea or they're trying to add emphasis, but you don't need to capitalize the names of theories or models. If the person's name is in it, you would of course still capitalize the person's name, but you don't need to capitalize the model itself. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the H and the N would still be lowercase, even though that's the official name of a theory or a model. So you capitalize people's names, capitalize proper nouns, proper names of things, but if it is the name of a theory or a model, you don't need to capitalize it.